Hey guys, welcome back. In the last video, we learned how to make vocal effects change and how to apply those changes and those track presets to our project. And in this video, we are going to learn how to set up automation. So automation is a really powerful feature, and thank God Cubase makes it a really easy process and just a joy to work with. I never actually liked doing automation. It was always kind of tedious in other DAWs and things, but Cubase really makes it just drop dead simple. So for example, we got a country song here, a lot of dense mix going on, but it's got a breakdown section in it. Sounds like this. All right, so that section right there, that breakdown section, if we want to bring, for example, like the keyboard level up or down throughout that section, each one of these track sections you're going to see has an R and a W button. The W is for write automation, and the read or R button is for read automation. That allows you to read back the automation you're going to write. Writing couldn't be more simple. You simply click the button until you see red, you play back the track in real time and make the changes you want to make. So let's change some of the keyboard levels in real time. All right, we'll bring it up kind of slowly as it gets closer to part where it comes back in. All right, that's it. That's just that simple. If you leave the read button enabled, it's going to read back that automation we just wrote in real time. If you don't want to read the automation on that track or that bus, simply disengage the read automation button. Any single thing that can be done, that can be clicked on, mute, solo, and anything in the inserts tabs or the strips tabs or the EQ tabs, anything that you can change on the screen, just about, not always, but just about anything can be automated. And not just master faders, but panning positions, for example, and even groups of faders. Through that little breakdown section, there's kind of a wind sound that goes on in the background. And so maybe let's break that down and automate maybe that wind so it moves around the stereo field a little bit. So it's as simple as just hitting the right automation button. And we're going to move that wind sound like back and forth in the stereo field. And I'm just literally doing this by clicking and dragging the mouse. All right, that's it. So let's listen back to what we had here. And so you can hear it panning back and forth to the right and left side. And it really is just as simple as that. Now, where this really gets interesting, if we go to our track view section and look at the actual track itself, not the bus. Oh, this can be a bus or a track. So let's actually go down to the individual track itself. If we want to look at the automation that we wrote, we simply hit the lower part of our track right here. Here's our audio track. This is wind. There's a little bit of a down arrow. Click on it, shows you the automation that we just wrote. If it's volume, it's the first one to show up. If you click that, it's going to show you the thing that you just wrote last. So in this case, that's panning information, right and left. So you'll see that panning information is right here. We can drop the track and make it a little bit easier to see. So for example, if you want that panning information to be a little smoother, you can see we've kind of done it with a mouse and it's a little uneven here. We can go to our line tool, click on the line tool, and write it again with much more exacting curves. And now we only have 3 points as opposed to all those points. So we're not going to start hogging up our CPU with a whole bunch of automation points. The advantage of this, if we go back to our regular pointer tool, now you'll notice that each one of those lines we just drew now has a Bezier control in it as well. And that allows us to get these really cool and much more complex curves and exponential curves and things that are really difficult to do with just a mouse by itself, simply by grabbing these handles and moving them back and forth. You'll also notice the range tool, for example. This can also be used to control stuff. If we select a range, for example, then we go up to the top of the handle area and pull straight down, and this allows us to get quick and instant notching. Works in both directions, and it's a great way to write automation information for anything that has an on or off state to it. So anything that can be enabled or disabled, muted, soloed, also works great for sustain pedal information and for MIDI controller information as well. Let's head back to our country song. Got a lot of stuff going on. It's got a great organ part in the background, sounds like this. So this particular part here, soloed, sounds like this. All right, so if this was audio, we can simply grab the wave and we could throw a quick fade on there. But because it's MIDI, we can't do that. So instead, we click the right button and play this back, and we're simply going to drop the slider in real time as the song plays back. All right, that's it. Simple as that. Now we unengage the right button and play it back, and it will read our automation if we have the read button here enabled. Let's take that same idea and automate the piano track. So we have the piano track that comes into the breakdown here, but the piano sound, while it's actually playing in the bed of the song, is different than it is in the breakdown. In the bed, it's EQ'd so that some of that bottom end is taken out and it has a bit more presence. But when it breaks down to the song where all you hear is that and the wind sound, that piano is going to have to stand up on its own a lot more. You're going to have to hear all that bottom end. So I'd like to automate that effect. The strip part of the EQ, I'd like to automate that on and off. So let's do that real quick. Let's take the bed piano part, and we'll click the right button here as well and play it back. So now we've disabled the EQ, and the piano's back to sounding really full. You can hear all the bottom and the top end that's naturally in it. But then when it gets closer to the music coming back in, we want that EQ to come back in and take all that bottom back out. Let's listen to the piano bed track by itself, and you can hear what the tone of the piano sounds like without that. So much thinner, but by the time the breakdown comes in, we take that EQ out altogether, and now we have the big full sound of the piano as it stands on its own in the breakdown. As the music comes back in here, we want to put that EQ back in so that it takes some of that bottom end out and doesn't compete. All right, let's go to the console view and take that same idea, and we've inserted a ping pong delay on our guitar track, and that guitar part that comes in during the breakdown, it does like kind of a little chicken picking thing. Let's listen to what that sounds like. All right, so that's kind of a cool little guitar part sound, but we'd like to move it around the mix a little bit, so we've inserted a ping pong delay here that it's only going to be going on when this breakdown section happens. We want it to stop working in the rest of the song. All right, so let's go up here and we're going to write a little bit of automation for just when that comes in. So we're going to start our breakdown section and we're going to turn the ping pong on. And then we're going to turn it off right after the ping pongs finally die out. So you can see the automation has turned on the ping pong delay. And then it's going to take it right back out again when the break comes up. Let's go back to our track view. We'll go down to our guitar track and let's click the drop down box so we can see the automation that we just wrote. All right, so we got it pretty much in the ballpark, but if we wanted to change where it came back in, or we wanted to move the start and stop points, it really is just as simple as drag selecting the point and moving it to the left or the right. And this is a really quick and dirty way of making sure that you get the automation to start exactly where you want. All right, so one of the most common things that automation is used for is in vocals. And vocal automation's been around forever. So any of the changes that we make to the vocal here by automating our slider here are going to present kind of a problem, and I'll show you why that is. So let's do a little bit of real-time automation for our vocal here real quick. You're there, bring it down. I'm here. All right, so the problem with this approach, however, is this. Now, say I listen back to it and think the vocal's a little bit too quiet or too loud, and I want to change the level of it here at the slider. Watch what happens. We've surrendered our ability to change the level because the automation takes over now. So no matter where that goes, it is now going to follow this automation path exactly. So It takes a little bit of extra planning if you're going to use automation in your projects. And you're going to find that really automation is going to be the thing you want to do at the very end of a project. How we approach this is instead of automating maybe the track on an individual level, Cubase gives us the ability, we'll go ahead and undo our automation there real quick. That's really the beauty of clip gain. And clip gain is really when you select a clip and you grab the top of the handles and change the levels here at the clip level. So be advised that by doing this is not the same as moving the slider up and down, because the slider is post all of our inserts and effects and everything. This is before all of these effects and everything. And that's a big difference. That means it's going to hit the compressor differently and all that kind of stuff. So typically the workflow goes like this. You get the vocal comp you want, and then you make whatever level adjustments so that it feeds into the compressor to begin with in your vocal chain nice and evenly. And then the very last thing you do at the very end of all those changes is add whatever automation you need at the end. And there's a way to get that control over the volume back even after you've included automation on your channel. And that is to go up to your inserts and use the compressor, which we learned how to set up as a basic vocal chain in the previous video. You can use the output knob of your compressor as a final gain adjustment instead of having to try to use the slider. And you can also go to the console view and over to your vocals channel and do the same thing on your vocals bus. So we have the vocals bus right here, but that's going to affect everything going to that vocals bus. Automation can get a lot more complex from here on out, especially when you get into doing things like automating entire layers and entire groups and nested groups of things. But this is automation at a glance for now, and we will see you guys in the next video.